Well, here we are, Oncers. We're back once again, and we're going to talk about Season 6, Episode 12, Murder Most Foul, and the brewing bromance between Hook and David. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Welcome back, Oncers. We're having a fun time here in the studio. I'm Tiona Hobson, and joining me tonight, I've got Dakota T Jones.
What is up? Thanks for that intro. You guys can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Mr. Dakota T Jones.
And Marisa Serafini.
Hello, everyone. You can follow me on Twitter at Serafini TV.
Doesn't that sound just like a really good Italian dish?
A Professor Serafini.
Yes, like I would go to Italy and
sure.
order that. I would probably order
My last
it.
name is Italian.
Yeah,
yes.
can I get one Serafini, please?
With a nice bottle of wine, please.
This world can't handle more Serafini. Sad.
Roxy will be back with us next week. She's sad she's not here with us, and we're sad that she's missing it. But you know what? Her problem, not ours.
Oh.
So,
she said it.
She tried so hard. She
I know.
tried so hard to be
I'm just
here.
mostly sad she wasn't here to hold my hand for the opening. I'm used to that support, and she failed me today. So
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyways, tonight's episode. Initial thoughts from the peanut gallery over here.
Peanut
I
gallery.
loved it. I think that it's one of those things where this show is one of my favorite shows, obviously, and they always have these things that happen. I think the last season was a really good season, but I think that there was a few things that were lacking or things that they were just trying to kind of make up just to kind of get the storyline going along. This season seems genuine. Things are happening. It feels almost like the old Once Upon a Time where we're getting all this new information. It's exciting. Things are happening, and it doesn't seem so forced. It seems a little bit more natural now, I feel.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. I think there were a lot of good moments in this episode. Moments that made me happy. Moments that made me shocked and afraid. And like moments that would be like, what is going on? I think the show still does a good job with emotional upheavals. And I think the storylines, especially in this episode, were pretty strong. And it was a good lead up to like what the next episode
I know.
will be,
Like
so.
these last few episodes, like I've clung onto Tiana's arm.
Yeah.
It's a
Stop
thing.
doing that. Don't touch
Like,
me.
I'm sorry, but like whenever I'm in emotional distress watching this, I'm just like I just grab her, and then afterwards I'm like, wait,
I just give him a weird side eye, like, why are you touching me?
why are you touching me?
Ew. Someone
But
get me a wipey.
That's what you want to see, though. When you're watching an episode, you want that excitement where otherwise we're just kind of like, really, But it's exciting whenever you feel all those emotions that they're obviously trying to convey to us, and I love it. I think it's been exciting.
Okay.
There was a lot of great acting in this episode.
Yeah,
Oh my
there's
God.
a lot of great acting, and
Yeah.
I like when Once goes in the darker tone without actually being like, I'm gonna turn evil now. It's nothing like that. It's just darker storylines, more truthful and sort of adult, and not relying on the fairy tale aspect of things. Like when they really take the storylines and make it their own, which is what they're doing here. I really do enjoy that. So let's start with these flashbacks that we saw. Ruth and Robert, David's
Yes.
parents. I was going to give them a last name, and then I was like,
You're like, wait.
Charmy? No.
Nope.
Nope, that's wrong. So we get to see the moment when they had the reason behind them giving up baby James.
That was heartbreaking.
That was terrible. That was so Sophie's choice.
Yeah. It's like, how do you choose? Like, you have 2 sick babies. You can't get any medicine. You can't afford it. You can't find it. Your babies aren't going to make it through the winter. And then in walks Rumpelstiltskin with, like, the deal of the century. Like, hey, I'm going to make sure both of your kids are okay, but the price you have to pay is that you have to give up one of them.
I mean, wouldn't you guys do the same thing? Would you rather your both of your children die, or would you rather they both live? Hopefully, one will have a good life with the king. They would think, hopefully, and then they would get to keep one. I think that any one of us would probably have made that choice if it came down to it, and that was our only option.
Yeah, I mean, that's the lesser of two evils. But again, Rumpel just appeared out of nowhere. And seemingly back then, it seems like, who is this guy who's making a crazy deal like this? And they didn't question it whatsoever.
I feel like Rumpel was just kind of known around town. Like,
I guess,
oh,
yeah.
the gold glittery guy who pops up in your living room. Like,
Right.
oh, that Rumpel. Yeah,
Oh.
he comes in at the most inconvenient times,
That guy.
doesn't he?
Right?
Yeah.
Or convenient
Or
for them.
convenient for himself. So they have to decide who to give up. And I mean, like you said, Dakota, this is almost an impossible situation to even fathom being in, where you have to choose either, you know, possibly losing both of your babies or losing one, but they both get to live. I feel like this is a thing that happens on like Grey's Anatomy all the time.
Gosh.
It's like, oh my God, who gets the liver? It's like, what do you do in these situations? So it is an impossible thing. So I will never judge the parents' decision, because, you know, they did what they felt was the right thing to do at the time. Kind of crappy that they had to toss a coin to decide
I know
who
your
to go.
children's fate.
But again,
But
it's
at
Sophie's
least-
choice.
Yeah, at least we know where the coin plays into all of this.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And not only that, but I mean, would you rather the parents be like, okay, well, we really like David, so we're going to keep him? Or it's a little bit as screwed up as it is choosing a child over a coin toss. At least they know they wanted both of them. They didn't say, oh, I think we're going to let James go because David's kind of,
You know, James's cry is a little bit more high pitched than David, so you take him. He'll never sleep through the
he
night.
has more poopy diapers. Let's give it to him.
Like, what do you
Like, really?
So then fast forward 6 years, and Prince James has been abducted. In case you're listening, I used air quotes there, because later on we find out that the kid just ran away because he wasn't happy at
I don't
home,
blame him.
because King George is a douchebag.
He's a
Right?
terrible person.
Yes, he's
Total
not
douchebag.
nice at all. But it was interesting to find out, you know, oh, well, you know, at first we think that he's been abducted. King George is like, any information on him, you'll be rewarded handsomely. Robert goes home, who, you know, he's at the tavern drinking, which we knew he was always a drunk, but he's like, look, this is the way I can fix myself. I need to go find him. I need to, you know, do this, because
Redemption.
it seems like the reason he started drinking after they gave the kid away, and that's kind of started his downward spiral.
I mean, that makes sense, though.
Yeah.
It is a terrible decision that completely changed his life.
Right. But it is one of those things where I mean, we're not obviously in the situation, but like when you get put in something like that, you know, you still have a son, so be there for your son. Like the bartender said, like, you literally could be using this for your family. And he's like, just get me a drink. Obviously, we see the shift in his life choices later, but at that moment I was like, dude, like, I get that you're upset, but you have a son back home who needs you.
Yeah, and for your 6-year-old son to be so aware that you are a raging drunk hurt my soul. Dakota just tried to take a drink and missed his mouth, guys. It just went on his shirt. Sorry.
I was gonna try to like totally just like go over it and not have anyone notice,
No,
but
I'm sorry. I reacted to it, so then I had to explain why I reacted. Dakota. Oh, Dakota. Now
I'm
it looks like
sorry.
you're lactating out here in the group.
only one.
Only one.
Only one.
Get it together, Dakota.
All right.
Yes.
I was about to have a very
Sorry,
serious
I know.
thought. Okay.
I'm
No,
sorry,
I-
we were trying to have a serious thought and I'm over here lactating.
Rein it in. I completely agree, too, because, you know, it's always sad when kids know.
Yeah.
You know, it's that serious when a 6-year-old is noticing it and literally can't do anything about it.
Yeah, and he's like, so you're gonna come back and you're gonna be better? That broke my heart.
No.
Like, at 6 years old, I mean, I don't even think I really understood what alcohol was until I was a preteen. Like, if my parents just didn't drink that much.
Same.
But, you know, like, I didn't understand it. So for a 6-year-old to be so aware of it, oh my gosh, that just broke my heart to hear him say that. But, you know, he promises that he will be better. He's going off, and he's really determined to do this, and he knows that this is the way to fix his life. So his first stop, of course, is going to Rumple for assistance to find the kid.
And he's got a backbone now.
Yeah.
I like seeing that. He's like, you owe me one. I was like,
too.
oh my god.
Oh my god. But
oh
then,
my god.
But, like, you're making a deal with Rumple, and that's never good. It's gonna backfire on you.
It
anyways.
probably will backfire, but it seemed like a very simple deal.
well,
Too simple.
small things can hold great power.
True.
Rumple said that twice within a minute and a half of each other.
Literally
Oh,
small
yeah.
things. Like, literally, I don't even know how he could get
Like,
a hair off of
let's
his
think
head.
about
It's so
this.
small.
The hair, that's DNA.
Yeah.
Okay, like, does that mean somewhere out there David could have another sibling? Like, there's no telling what Rumple did with this
Goodness.
one hair follicle.
Either that, or he's gonna bring him back to life with that DNA, replicate his father, and maybe that's why he's been visiting him in his, like, you know how he's like kind of there,
Ghostly
kind of
state.
not. You know what I'm saying?
That's
So I
terrible.
feel like maybe Rumple will use that against him, or maybe somehow he'll come about and he'll have like a second father, kind of like a Robin 2.0, where it's kind of like the father but kind of not, with the same DNA type of thing.
You are kind of the father.
Right. That would be a very interesting.
That would be very interesting.
Yeah.
And Rumple also kind of ends this whole conversation by saying, you know, someday maybe we'll all be reunited with our sons, or like we'll both be reunited with our sons. So
Yeah, I think at this point in the timeline, that's when he obviously gave up, you know, Balefire, and he's feeling sorry for his own family and his own choices, so probably.
And maybe that's also, you know, a little prediction about being reunited with sons. Or, you know, maybe because he went to Pleasure Island and met up with his son right afterwards. Maybe that's it. Who knows?
I think they did an amazing job with the set of Pleasure Island.
Oh my gosh, that was so fun. I was so happy about it because Pleasure Island, Pinocchio,
Yes.
I wanted to go there as a kid.
Me too, even though it's not like supposedly like
But
it's a
it's
good,
kind
not
of
a
a
good place.
scary island. Thank you everyone in live chat. They're saying Rumple threw the hair away.
Why?
I mean, I saw him do something magical with it, but
He threw it like in the air with the coin and stuff, but I don't know if he actually
like
threw it.
Why
Rumple
would he do
wouldn't
that?
ask for something and not keep it.
No.
Yeah.
Wait, I didn't see that part. When did he throw it in the air?
It was like right afterwards because I bent down to write notes, and when I looked up, I saw him kind of flip.
Yeah, he's like great things come in small, whatever.
Or maybe he did that thing where he
He-
kind of like made
he,
it
like,
just like
flicked it.
save it for later type of thing. Like, whew.
Because if Rumple threw it out, then that would mean that he didn't need to make that deal,
And he wouldn't have
Rumple
said the
doesn't do
line about-
anything for free.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he wouldn't say the line
Especially
about the power.
yeah, and especially at this point in his timeline,
Yeah.
he was ruthless.
Ruthless.
So Pleasure Island, where every kid wants to go, like hello, candy games, like just
Carnival.
fun carnivals, and then they turn you into donkeys, right? Like it's,
Oh my gosh. I forgot about that part. Oh my
It's
gosh.
the water. It's the water.
the water.
water.
Don't drink
guys.
the water.
Don't drink the water
Otherwise,
on
you can have a
Pleasure
great
Island.
time. You can have a great time, but don't touch the water.
Yeah.
That's, you know, tip if you ever go there.
Just
You know what I'm saying?
Don't drink the water.
Don't drink the water. It's like Mexico. You just don't drink the water.
you have a lot of experience with all this different understanding. So while on Pleasure Island, you know, we get to see Pinocchio, which was fun
Yes.
to see him there because especially when they said Pleasure Island, I was like, okay, it's Pinocchio, it's his story. Like,
Yeah.
are we going to see him there? And I thought the animation on Pinocchio was really great.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
It
it's
looked
great.
amazing. I was like, yes, budget, okay.
And
Hey,
I think
see
it's
you.
also I think it's also great that Pinocchio even ties to David's storyline back then, even way before Emma.
Look at this. Dina Zetto said whoa, where'd it go?
Oh.
He threw away the hair because basically he feels bad. He like resonates with
He
a dad
feels
missing a
feels
son.
for a dad missing a son.
I could see that. I also
Even-
just think it's Rumpelstiltskin, and
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
I don't trust him.
fully trust
Yeah.
his intentions are always pure.
Even now when he tries to be pure, I'm like, I don't know if your intentions are pure.
But
I love the line, "Do you think I was carved yesterday?"
Yes,
Yeah.
Danielle, I agree.
Yes.
you think
That was
I
a great
scarred
line.
yesterday. That was a great line. That whole interaction, and like you were saying, Dakota, you know, knowing now that Pinocchio's storyline was tied to him at such a young age.
Yeah.
You know, we knew about Pinocchio when, you know, Geppetto was building the box or the
Wardrobe.
the wardrobe and everything, but we didn't know that when David was 6 years old, Pinocchio was already like, I want to be a real boy. That's my
That was
Pinocchio.
really good.
Thank you.
That was
I
so
practice a lot.
She looks in the mirror. I want to be a real boy.
But, you know, so Pinocchio leads him to where James is. And this part also broke my heart a little bit because we know what kind of person James turned into. So to know that he started as this sweet, scared little boy who who literally said, I don't want to be a knight. I don't want to have to kill things.
Yeah.
To turn into the complete opposite of that by adulthood. It's just like, that is, again, nature versus nurture. It's like you're a product of your environment and your surroundings, and was raised by this not nice and cruel person, and that's why he turned out the way he did.
Yeah, that's so true. And like it's unfortunate for James at that point. But it kind of works out for David to take over in a certain way. But it does make sense, like you say, because it's sad when you see a little kid who, again, didn't have a choice in all this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he was so excited to learn that he could go somewhere and have a
I
brother
know.
and live a life, and then King George is there and he's like, don't let him take me, and then
I
it
know.
wasn't really a fight or a struggle. It was just like,
Goodbye.
I have a question about that because whenever he shows up and King George is there, I immediately thought, what a little trick. Like, he said this to get him from Pleasure Island. He didn't really want his son back. He wanted to give him back so he could get the reward. That's what I originally thought whenever he was standing at the docks.
Oh my gosh, you have little faith,
Well, I mean,
Dakota.
otherwise, I feel like why would he even confront King George? Wouldn't he just take the son and run? Like, or did they just bump into each other?
There's
Like,
no other like run back into the island where the guys were chasing them, trying to capture them there because he was taking a child away. Like he
true.
couldn't go that way. King George and the boats are this way.
That's
He
true.
had nowhere to go, Dakota.
I just wish that he could have smuggled away and ran. You know,
Nah, because that would have been too simple.
that would have been too simple. You're right.
Yeah.
But it's also sad knowing that James had a chance to go back to his original family.
I know.
Yeah.
Do you
And
think
having
Rumpel would
that
have let him
ripped
though?
from him.
Do you think Rumpel would have let him though?
No.
At this point, though, it would have been between King George and
That's
Robert
true.
to kind of straighten out. Rumpel's like,
Yo.
I gave you the kid. If you lost him, that's on you.
That's on you, bro.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So I think it would have been kind of them figuring it out, which of course King George is like, nope, guards, go kill him. Like, get rid of this guy.
Ordered to be killed.
Ordered to be killed.
That's what
but
he
we
said.
all know who did the real killing.
Ugh.
Which
We'll get there.
That was another grab Tiana's arm moment.
and he's grabbing my arm and I'm just like, I mean, Dakota.
Oh, there she went.
It's like,
My hair's so silky smooth, the headphones won't stay on.
You were like, Dakota what? Whenever I grabbed her arm.
Dakota, it was kind of obvious that this was coming at this point.
One of our viewers even tweeted this to us, and we've even
Like a
said it in
week ago.
predictions. You know, we
Yeah.
thought this would probably happen, but I
'Cause-
mean,
Yeah, it's like we always say, every time something is going too well or too good, too happy, you have to throw a wrench in it.
Yeah.
So as the guards are trying to dispose of Robert by, soaking him with booze and they're going to run his trailer down into the ravine and kill him, here walks Hook and his gang and they're like, oh, all the king's gold. Yes. Oh, you saw me kill the king's men. Now I have to kill you. And like, at least with King George, he ordered someone else to do it. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, he's like, I mean, technically I didn't kill him.
yeah, but
That's-
King
but-
George is a king. He has all of his lackeys do
Yeah.
the dirty work.
Yeah, exactly. But in this case, it's just like, man, it hurts even more that it wasn't just Hook's actions or order that did it. It's actually
did it.
his sword. He did it.
I know.
You know,
And his character.
I'm
Yeah,
so
and his
mad.
character.
Who he was.
Yeah, this is who he was and who he's trying to get away from being, and it's just, it does hurt a little bit. But I was also like, okay, they've been really slowly pushing this Hook and David bromance at us, and then tonight was just the mother load of bromanticness between them.
Yeah.
That I was like, okay, clearly this is the best way to throw a wrench in that relationship.
Question: do you think that Hook didn't really put two and two together who the guy was who got killed until this episode? Because otherwise, I feel like long ago we would have seen him kind of feel guilty. But I feel like he may have just realized, oh my gosh, whenever he got the new storybook pages, he was like, crap, I recognize this. I'm the one who did this. So I really don't think he knew until tonight. What do you guys think?
He definitely didn't know
I
because
think it
he wouldn't
was
have
until
known
he
who
got the
David's
pages.
father was.
Yeah.
Right.
Not like they had photographs of people or anything. He wouldn't have known who anyone was.
But thanks
and
to
if
this
August
book.
had never found them pages, he still wouldn't have known. You know what I'm saying?
That's so true. That is
Yeah,
so
no,
true.
but exactly.
You know
The
what I'm
moment
saying,
he
know
saw
what I'm
those
saying?
pages, the moment he saw those pages, you could just see the
Yeah,
face on
his
on
face
Hook.
went-
His face just dropped. He's like, oh crap, what did I do?
Yes.
And he was getting ready to probably propose to Emma that night over a nice
I don't
microwave
see-
popcorn
I don't
with
think that
milk
night.
duds in it.
Not that night.
Yes.
I mean, if anything, Hook and Emma need like a full out romantic, set up the scene, set up the moment type of
Yeah.
engagement.
It's going to be an epic proposal. Let's
Like,
not
not-
kid ourselves here,
Not on the
Dakota.
street
not
in
gonna-
front of the house,
You
being
know
like,
what?
oh yeah,
She's
by
a
the
princess
way.
for crying out
I
loud.
know, but,
and
like,
a savior
I-
and the product of true love.
Okay.
She deserves better.
She does, but even you, whenever we were watching, whenever Hook was guarding the door for Charming, you thought, is he gonna propose right now
because
to
in that
distract?
moment, like, I was like, is he gonna propose to distract right
I was
now?
like,
and
that's
and I
awful.
wasn't gonna be okay with that proposal.
No.
That's why I was like, no, he better not be.
I know.
But my other favorite line of the night came from the flashback, and it's kind of morbid that this was my favorite line because it's right before Hook kills Robert. But he goes, but dead men tell no tales. Which, come on, Pirates of the Caribbean,
totally.
Disneyland, like Disney.
But he is a
it.
pirate. So David constantly reminded him of this episode. I was like, that's such a low blow.
Yeah, so let's talk about this bromance that's going on. Hook's over here trying to be like a better person and, let go of revenge and all this stuff. And David, they had a complete flip of character, which was nice to see. And I understand where David's coming from. But it was just to keep throwing like, well, you're just a pirate.
I know.
Kind of like that. It's your words that hurt.
I'll tell you what David was this episode. He was tricksy and false. That's what he was. He was not like I've never seen this version of him before. He's always like the stand-up guy who's always watching out for everyone, and he always like, even when Emma gets crazy and starts making weird decisions, he's like, no, we gotta stick to what is good and right. And he was just all over the place, like pulling moves that even Hook wouldn't do anymore, obviously.
Well, I mean, also, he
He's
hasn't
just
gotten a lot of sleep
emotional.
lately.
I know, that's true.
He's emotional. He hasn't seen his wife, and he was already emotional from the start of this episode.
Which goes to show you that Snow is his voice, calm voice of reasoning. Because
could be, yeah.
He wouldn't. I feel like he wouldn't have gone solo like this if it weren't for not being able to be around with her.
He would have, because he has before.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yes, he has definitely, when Snow is awake, gone behind her back to do some things that he knew that she wouldn't necessarily
That's true.
approve of.
But this was shadier than
this
anything
was
he's
really
ever done.
shady because he got his daughter's boyfriend involved and had him lying to her as well.
Exactly.
And that's just kind of the line that hadn't really been crossed before, and that we went there tonight.
Yeah.
But I also, that being said, I understand why he's doing these things and reacting this way, because he's finding out all this new information about his father that he's hated for years because he thought was a drunk and died a drunk and was never going to be anything but a drunk, and that his father basically had broken his last promise to him at 6 years old when he watched his father leave. His father promised to be a better person and to stop drinking, and then he gets news that his dad died because he drunkenly drove his car off the road. From 6 years old to now, he's been hating his father. So to get this new information, I can see him, wait, no, he was right. Like, all these emotions are hitting him at once, and he doesn't know how to act.
At the end of the day, obviously what happened sucked so bad. Nothing can ever replace his father. But at the same time, he might be able to walk away with these emotions knowing, you know what, my father was a good guy. He changed. He was a good man. What happened was unfortunate, but at least he can go home now knowing, okay, my father was a good guy. I mean, I would at least be comforted to know that. But now with the whole Hook involvement, I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. So, David's, like, seeing dead people. That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're, like, glitching in and out.
That was my
ever
question. Like,
explain that.
how the heck did he suddenly start appearing?
Sleep deprivation.
Sleep deprivation?
Oh, whatever you call it. That's
No,
what I have
I don't-
right now. That's why I'm talking like this.
Deprivation is my new
Deprivation's a new
favorite
word.
word.
Deprivation.
I don't there was no
Deprivation.
mystical supernatural connection in how that was possible.
The only thing I can put together that's new in this scenario is that David recently got that coin back from the Evil Queen. The Evil Queen gave him that coin, so maybe, and remember
He's had it
this.
for a few episodes though.
Oh,
But
he's had it for a
remember,
long
these
time.
episodes are happening same night of.
Yeah.
Like, tonight's episode happened the same night Emma defeated Gideon
Right.
last week.
That's
All right,
true.
well,
But
he's
this
had
coin-
this
A lot of-
coin for a couple days
I want to
now.
say
Why
like
not?
6 or 7 episodes this coin has been a thing.
Yeah, but in
Yeah.
those 6 or 7 episodes, it's maybe been 2-3 days.
Can you imagine?
So
like, oh my
maybe
gosh.
it's just like now starting to come to him,
Yeah,
kind of a
that's true.
delayed thing. That's the only new thing that has happened in his life that would do this, but I do wish they would go into more detail about how he's starting to see his father, which is why I think the hair might come back and play,
Right.
and I don't think we're really done with the whole father or seeing that version of him at
Maybe
all.
this is like Gideon / Rumpel, like trying to get at him or kind of mess with his head in order to maybe get him off track so that way he can get to Emma easily. I don't know. I feel like because the next preview we have for next week, it's saying, Rumpel, whether you like it or not, you're gonna help me type of a thing. So maybe there's some involvement there where Gideon's kind of making Rumpel or Gold kind of do things that he doesn't want to bring up. Could you see that?
I mean, maybe. I was just questioning, like, why suddenly just appear unless it's just for this episode to wrap this particular story lineup.
Maybe.
Well,
And we can just accept, it happened.
The reason I don't think we're done, especially seeing the ghost, is because they never went back to... Well, I guess he did have that magical moment where, everything went poof.
Everything went poof.
I don't really know how to
No, I
explain
know
what
what you
happened
mean.
over
Whenever
the water
he threw
there.
the coin and
Yeah.
I wouldn't throw the coin. Like, that's a memory with your father. Why'd you throw the coin?
Well, he thought
has
it was...
the closure he needs now.
Yeah,
He
it was
knows-
like it was done.
Yeah, he
I
knows
don't
that his
know.
father wanted to come back to him.
If that's the only thing I had of my father's and, like, he ended up being a stand-up guy and everything, I would want to keep it. I don't understand why,
But
like, the
that's
Titanic
you.
and everybody's got to freaking throw the thing over the bow.
But that's you, Dakota. That's not David. I don't really tend to see David as a sentimental guy.
Really?
Not in that way, no.
Really? I think he's sentimental. I don't know.
Tion's
People
like,
should just
"Well,
act like
Sorry,
me, guys.
You said a sentimental guy, and I started thinking of Sentimental Man from Wicked. I started singing that in my head just now, and I could hear everything, so I zoned out for a sec.
No,
Sorry.
it's okay. I know. I looked at you and you're just
Yes.
kind of like.
It's like, I'm a sentimental
Mental
man.
man. Yes.
So, I mean, David is definitely acting a little out of character, but we all understand. I also love that on their adventures together, they go to find August, who I like that he's been around
He's
in the
heavily
last couple
involved.
Yeah, it's great.
episodes. Like, let's
Yeah.
keep this up. I like having him there. And he remembers talking to David's dad, and he even says, I never put you two together because why would he? How would
Right.
he have known any of that stuff? So it was good to get that. And then he brings up those pages from Henry's book. Now, I forgot that he had taken pages out of Henry's book because,
So many
it
things
was
happen.
like 4 seasons ago.
No, it was in season 1.
It was in
What?
season
It
1.
was season 1. When
No way.
he first comes to Storybrooke, takes the
Yes.
pages out, rebinds it, and gives it back to Emma and
Yes.
Henry.
So
Yo!
now-
Oh
We
my
didn't even see Henry in
gosh.
this episode. What the
I know.
heck?
Where is Henrold?
He had the week off, but he still got paid. So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's all good.
True.
But it was cool to hear that. Okay, these are the pages that I didn't want people to know about my time at Pleasure Island. Clearly, Pinocchio was getting into no good on Pleasure
I
Island.
guess so.
You feel me, Dakota?
I feel ya.
You and Pinocchio were partying it up at Pleasure Island, right?
We were
Raving
drinking-
all night. Like,
Yes, yeah.
Sugar high.
Sugar high, drinking that water.
Yes.
Turning into donkeys. It was fun. It was a good time.
Sorry, there's so many places
What were
Donkey
you
could go.
guys drinking?
But I love that Hook does stand out to David when it comes to the line of like, they leave Pleasure Island, are talking to August, and he's like, I know that King George was involved. And he's like, I'm ready to go fight him to the death. And Hook's like, no, this is where, I draw the line.
Yeah.
And David's like, okay, like, you are different. I appreciate that.
After he
I'ma
freaking, like-
lock you up to the bike ride.
Right.
I know. And he even held the knife at his throat. I'm like, what are you doing? You're even turning against Hook.
No, that fight was
That fight
tense.
was intense, yo. It was like West Side Story. It's like, it's a
It
knife
was.
fight.
Like
in a
sharks and jets, man.
And it was at a jail, so like the shanking of it all, like the setting is just perfect for a knife fight. It wasn't a sword fight. These were like long knives, you know?
It's true. Like
I
the
wonder-
sharks and jets. Man.
Yes, it had
Yeah.
all of that.
But I
in
love
there.
how Hook came in and literally saved King George's life, even though he was quite the a-hole. But it just shows like how far Hook has come. And he's like, man, it's not worth it. You're like, don't
Yeah.
do this. And it's like, yeah, you know what he did wrong, but it's not going to make you feel any better. It's not going to change anything.
I bet George was just having a day, he's just chilling on his bed, and then all of a sudden he gets drug out, and then Hook grabs him by the arm, throws him in, and closes the door, and he's probably got back on his bed like, wow, I got my workout for the day. Like,
At least I had a visitor.
I know, right? No wonder
No
how
one
long
else
he's
comes
been
down
there.
here.
Yeah, I was like, okay, he probably enjoyed it.
He probably did. And I mean, as this is all going on, clearly we know that Hook had gone to see Archie earlier in the day
Yes.
because David had already started making little jabs about him being a pirate. And he's like, look, I want to propose to Emma, but I feel like her dad, still judges me for my past. I need his permission and his blessing to marry Emma, which, oh my gosh, 200-year-old manners are just the cutest.
Yeah.
Like, not many people go and ask for the father's blessing before proposing nowadays.
That's what I do
Old-fashioned.
before I like date a girl. I'll ask the father like, "Hey, can I like take your daughter out on a date?" Like that's me. So
Dakota, if you showed up at my dad's house and were like, "Hey, can I take your daughter out on a date?" My dad would be like, "Why the hell do you need my permission?"
I'll try. I'm gonna go.
My
to your dad.
dad would be so confused and like, what is he doing here? Why is he talking to me? Like, just
really?
take her out.
See, that's just the kind of person I am. Like, I always got to ask the father first, like, hey, can I take your daughter out? Or I'm interested in your daughter. I don't know.
So even like dating in LA, if she's like in LA but she's from Missouri, are you like going through her contacts and like finding her dad's phone number so you can call her dad to ask permission before asking her out?
I feel like it's just dead now. You know, good manners like that is just kind of
Dakota,
dead.
you're like a unicorn. I'm really
So the last girl I was with out here, I asked her, I was like, hey, I would really like to go out with you, but I need to ask your father first. So we waited, and I went to her dad and asked him, and he said no.
I thought that was
But
Marisa, why are we both laughing?
you guys are
at
awful,
this?
by the way. Okay, but
okay,
you know,
back to once.
Yeah, okay.
Back to once.
Oh my gosh, Dakota.
you guys are awful.
Oh, we love you.
But you know what? I kind of pulled a charming and just did it anyway.
There you go.
It kind of burned me in the end, but you know.
Okay, well, apparently chivalry is not dead because Dakota T Jones is on this earth.
Thank you.
But Hook's like, I need permission.
Yeah.
So really, at the end of this, we just need more men like you in the world.
Aw.
Yeah.
There you go.
What the world needs now is more Dakota.
Thanks, guys.
But it was so cute how nervous Hook was.
Oh, I know.
Before he finally asked, because David's like, thank you for stopping me from doing all this stuff, you're a good guy, and he's like, so you know how you can pay me back?
Yeah.
I've got an idea.
Speaking of which,
I need your blessings to ask your
That
daughter.
was such a long, awkward pause.
It
like
was.
David's face was like,
He finally gave the smile.
I know.
He finally gave the smile.
no,
and
it was good because I feel like men who actually do ask ask the fathers for their permission. I feel like that is a long wait probably in life. So I think that was really true and realistic. But I did like it because of course he has a blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, duh, you're gonna get his blessing, even if you hadn't had to let him kill King George.
right.
He was
Yeah.
still gonna let you marry his daughter. Oh, and when they were fighting at the end, when they're hugging, Hook was in the perfect proposal form.
I know.
He was down on one
On the
knee,
floor.
and I was like, look at that perfect form right now.
He's been practicing.
He's been practicing that one knee thing for a long time. He's ready for this.
Yep.
He's ready to make the plunge.
He knows how
Make
to do
the
it.
plunge.
Yeah. And then August shows up with those damn pages.
It's like, I'm excited you're in the story now again, August, but you can't be coming around bringing those stupid pages that we haven't seen since season 1. Like, what are you
And he
doing?
ruins
But
everything because now
No,
Hook
not
knows
everything.
that he killed David's father, and he's gonna have to come clean about it, and it's gonna cause some drama for a little bit between everyone. But in the end, I am still #Hooker for life, Captain Swan. It's still happening because if we can forgive the evil queen for all of the bad things they did, everyone has accepted Hook for who he is. They know his past, and then it comes with baggage. They weren't expecting it to hit so close to home. I understand that.
Can you imagine, though?
But-
Like, he could have been the hero who, like, saved the dad and was like, all right, mate, I'll let you off on the hook. Go ahead, go back to your family. But no.
That's a weird accent.
I tried to sound like Hook. It didn't
It was
work.
like a weird, like, Australian mixed with English
Okay.
almost.
no.
Okay, but you know what I'm saying? Like, he could have been the cool guy to be like, all right, I'm a pirate, but I'm going to let you go. But so now David's going to be like, okay, so, you could have let my father go in that moment. So technically my father could have been alive if it weren't for you. So that's just going to cause the worst type of drama. I think it will take him a long time to forgive him.
Yeah, but I think the real question is, when will David find out? Before the wedding or after the wedding? How long will the secret no longer be a secret?
And who's he gonna tell first, Emma or David?
Right, who's gonna find out first?
Who's gonna find out first?
I feel like it'll
Archie,
be-
I feel like might find out next week.
Yeah, Archie's
Dr. Patient Confidential.
Yeah, they've got that whole thing going for them, so he can't talk, so
Yeah.
it's okay. But
Sorry.
it'll be interesting to see. And we'll talk more about this in like the predictions area of things because now we have to talk about.
Oh,
Oh, sorry, not yet.
I heard
not
a
yet.
bug. Did you guys hear a bug?
Now we have to talk about Regina and Robin 2.0 because
Oh my
Marissa is
gosh.
like so excited, and
I know.
I'm still just sitting here like, guys, I don't like nor trust nothing he's throwing out right now.
Okay, I know. A lot of a lot of people are probably getting to. It's fun to watch. You
Yeah.
gotta admit, it's fun to watch some version of Regina and Robin together. Yeah, he's probably not the good Robin that we all know and love. Yes, I get it. But it's fun. It's great to watch. Chemistry is still there, no matter if it's
Well,
Robin 1
the
or Robin 2
chemistry
or
was
Robin
killed.
Swan Point. What? I don't care.
The chemistry
Okay.
was killed real quick.
Yeah, because when they actually kissed, oh, that was great.
It
There
wasn't
was
a
that
good
moment.
kiss.
There was that moment where Regina like knew something was different.
Yeah.
The kisses were
And that-
different, and like her face.
And that it was
just
like
dropped,
kissing
and
a
she knew.
photograph.
Have y'all done that?
Like
haven't
there's
done that.
no love.
There's nothing there. Like I'm sorry,
Or is it
Marissa.
just
I'm
it's
so
not?
happy that you find joy in this. But
Yeah.
and I
have to be
think
the
I
only one.
would find more joy in it if the whole time I'm watching them interact, I'm just like, don't get attached. Don't tell him anything. He's not
a
the
good
person
dude.
that you're used to. So as happy as I want to be for her to see them interacting again, all I can think of is the potential heartbreak
I know.
That she's gonna
for
go
coming that she's gonna go through
I
all
know.
over again. It's gonna be losing Robin not once but twice, and it breaks my heart even thinking
3
about
times.
it. Three times. Well,
Asma Mohammed said, "Hey, Robin 2.0, go home."
I know.
can we
I know.
can we
you
find a way to
guys.
send him back to Wishland?
I know. Well, you know what's
Which
funny?
point?
I do
Swan Point.
Swan Point.
Swan Point.
give you my sincerest apologies because last week you guys were like, "No, he's bad news." I'm like, "No, he's probably a good guy. It's probably him, and he just probably doesn't remember anything." Obviously, we see he takes the box and everything after this episode. He's not going to be a good dude. But I feel like maybe Regina
he's a
did do the
fool.
right thing. She kind of pulled away. She's like, all right, I don't think it's going to work. So I feel like instead of her being like, oh, I'm still going to make it work, she told Snow, like, I think it's just not going to work out. But who is he going to be with type of a thing?
Yeah.
And I have a
And
prediction.
why
for
does
that
he
will be.
make it through the portal? You
Yeah,
know?
no, I think it's great, and even that conversation with Snow, it just shows like how far their relationship has come. They are great friends and family now, and they're giving each other advices about their love life. And yeah, I don't want to see Regina's heart broken again, and it's probably gonna happen again. But you gotta admit, it's just still fun to watch, you guys.
Do you guys think that it's smart of them, the whole town, to want to fill this Robin Hood 2.0 in on our Robin Hood's life? Like, the fact that everyone's like, well, did you tell him that he has a daughter here? Did you tell him this? Did you tell him that? And in my mind, I'm just thinking, well, he's not here to replace that Robin at all. So why does he need to know everything about this guy and his personal life and the daughter who is an infant and wouldn't know that this is her father reincarnated? That was what was going through my mind. So I just wasn't sure if you guys were like thinking, yeah, he needs to know all this information
I
about
don't think he,
Robin
think he
Hood.
does.
I don't
need
think he
to.
needs to know, because you saw Regina kind of like kept him under lock and key pretty much in her own place. So it's like slowly filling in some of the memories, maybe just to jog his memory. Because, and thank you for everyone who was commenting on our last episode. People were like, hey, if Emma can remember all the memories back in Swan Point, maybe it can be reversed. And Robin can remember everything that happened.
That's what I thought was going to happen. That was what I was rooting for, because I was like, you know what? It'll be fine. He just somehow got trapped in a different dimension. He's going to come back. It's going to be all good. The real Robin's going to be there with Regina. They're going to fall in love again. I was so there for that.
But-
That would have been a great storyline too.
But the reason Emma had those memories is because she was inserted into this point
That's
with
true.
only those memories and had to have her real ones reimagined, as opposed to him who was a figment of this wish
Yeah.
coming here. I'm just pointing out small details that
They're kind of big
could-
details. I know.
Jamie Norman says maybe he gets Robin's memories by the end of the season. I would love that.
That
You could
I
just
would
insert
love
them
that.
I
in
would
there,
love
like
that.
do a mind transfer.
Because there's
Why
got to be
not?
I don't know if
there's got to
anyone's-
be
Why
some
not?
reason why he was able to go through the portal. Whether it's him like some dark force pretending to be him coming through, or whether it's somehow partially him. There's a reason why he was able to. So we'll figure that out eventually. It'll probably be by the end of the season or mid-season finale. I don't know, but I just
we already had a mid-season finale.
we did.
All that's left is the finale.
wait. This is like the new season though.
No, this
No,
is
it's
the same
not.
season.
Oh, this is the same. So maybe the beginning of next season. My bad. My bad, guys.
Dakota.
My bad.
What kind of cold medicine are you on?
Can you guys hear it in my voice? It's
You're
like
delusional right now.
like
But no, I mean, hopefully we figure it out and we can stop him from going after people like Sheriff Nottingham
gosh, that was
and trying
intense.
to kill people on the streets with his bow and arrow. You know, like we got to get this guy.
he's out in the streets wilding right now.
Yeah,
Like,
he's wilding out.
He needs to be tamed.
Yeah,
I love how Regina stopped him though. That was good. Ooh, like wave of the hand, push.
I
Yes,
sent him
that
away
was-
so you wouldn't do something you would regret later. I love that. She's so I just love her.
She's great.
She's
and
so
it
great.
shows like how far she's come, man. Like I've killed people too. Come on. And I did love that moment in her vault, like where she did kind of sound hypocritical. It's like at least you guys, we are self-aware. She did come from dark past. We know this.
Yeah.
She's good though.
So my question, because when he's like, "What's that?" She's like, "The heart of my enemies."
Yeah.
I'm starting to think, wait a second, you still have some of those people's hearts? Can we go give them back?
Right?
I feel like
I
Regina
know.
should like.
Or are they actually real dead in this storybook?
Yeah, but I just feel like I need an episode of Regina like a Girl Scout with a wagon full of hearts, and she's walking down the street, knocking
get a
on
heart.
doors, like,
You get a heart.
"Hey, boom," and like putting hearts back in people.
Yeah. She's gonna be the
Okay,
Oprah
with
of
that.
hearts.
Because I need her to not have a vault full of other people's hearts anymore.
Yeah, it's like
But I think that also kind of shows she still does have that dark tendency within her that she still has the hearts of people. So
She's a
if she
complex
does
being.
return people's hearts and like literally gets rid of all dark magics or any semblance of dark thing from her past, she can truly be good then.
Yeah, especially because we got rid of the evil queen side of her, so there
Yeah.
should be light and happiness
Yep.
in her and not darkness. Is there anything else y'all wanted to talk about in this
I'm
episode?
excited. Like this week, I actually have a few predicciones.
Oh, well, before we get to that,
okay.
I want to do some news and gossip and talk amongst yourselves. I got to get my computer up and...
Up and running.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's up. Okay. Prediction, our news and gossip for everyone.
AfterBuzz TV News.
So, last week we talked about how, the show hasn't officially been picked up and we don't know what's going to happen and people's contracts are up and all that stuff. Well, ABC is in talks with 4 original cast members.
Oh my gosh.
You want to know which 4?
Yes.
Ooh.
Jenna Morrison, who
Okay.
plays Emma, Lana Parrilla,
Yeah.
Regina, Robert Carlyle, Gold, and Colin O'Donoghue, who's Hook. So these are the 4 people who they are in negotiations with right now for season 7, for a potential season 7. The list is not including Jennifer, Josh, or Jared, Mary, or Snow, Charming, and Henry, who have also been on the show since the start. That does not mean that they won't be a part of it, but
They're probably like holding out for some more money or
yeah,
something.
but I have
Maybe.
a quote here about the rumors of like the rebooting of the seasons and whatnot. And Horowitz said, within the bounds of the season, there are many storylines that we've been telling for a long time that may reach some kind of climax, but at the same respect, these are characters who have to us really rich history and vital lives yet to be explored, that while we may shake things up in a big way, we're hoping to, but there's a lot more that we can get. We're hoping we're lucky enough to like get it all together. So
Oh.
maybe they'll go from series regulars to guest stars in a
stars.
way. It's just a way to bring in some new stories
Oh,
because
that'd be
like they're saying, a lot of these storylines have kind of dragged on and
Yeah.
like we're seeing they haven't really been using David and Snow that much in like real ways. So it's
my
like, okay,
gosh.
back off of their storylines and put something else to the forefront.
And
That's
plus,
true.
like, you gotta remember, they actually have, like, a real family in life and stuff. So,
Yeah.
like, their personal priorities are probably shifted with, and filming and stuff. And I think that just goes with everybody.
One of the new storylines that I think that they would bring on, totally would be the Aladdin Jasmine thing, because they just reintroduced us to that.
Yeah.
So I could see them being like series regulars going in for the next season, which would be incredible.
That'd be awesome.
Well, for the new season, and the May finale is actually going to introduce 2 guest stars who have the potential of joining the series regular cast for season 7. One of which is Walking Dead alum Andrew West, who his character is being described as strong yet vulnerable leading man in his late 20s to mid 30s, a gent who was once optimistic and hopeful, but now has a friendless, cynical recluse. That said, he still possesses a dormant, deep-seated spark of hope that waits for the right person to ignite it. And I've been digging around the internet because there's a lot of theories on who this character could potentially be. The one I like most, Adult Henry. Because it's someone who used to be optimistic and hopeful, and something happens, and maybe that all goes away, and he becomes this like cynical person.
But you know what? That wouldn't be the first time that happened, because we have frickin' Morpheus and Gideon. That's Morpheus and Gideon right now.
So
we didn't even get them in
but the difference is we didn't get to see Morpheus as a kid growing up. We've watched Henry throughout this whole thing started.
But
off.
I think that storyline is so tired.
What?
Just starting off good and becoming evil, and now we have to figure out how they became evil.
So you're thinking that like Jared may not be a part of the story anymore, like
because they might grow up his character is basically what they're saying.
Oh my gosh!
Or like
don't get rid of Henry.
Fast forward.
Part of the rebooting of the thing would be like, oh, Henry's now an adult and not a child anymore.
I would be really sad. I love him. I would be so upset if he didn't.
All right, so the second guest star is Jane the Virgin star. She actually plays the young Jane on that show, Allison Fernandez. Her character is being described as a precocious 10-year-old with a constant twinkle of mischief in her eye. Ooh. And though this girl comes from a broken home, those struggles have only made her stronger, something which will come in handy when darkness threatens everything she holds dear.
That sounds like a young Emma.
Well, what they're saying is while this character breakdown notes that this lass never lets the hard knocks of life get her down,
Annie?
They're saying that you're wrong to guess that it's Orphan Annie. So it's not Orphan Annie, even though she's had some hard knocks in her life.
Wow.
Precocious.
I was like, wait a minute. Well, that'd be really weird.
It makes sense. Like if you're bringing in like an older Henry, like the show, every show needs like the cute kid, and Henry has clearly grown, and he's not the little kid anymore. So you need someone to come fill that family-friendly adult, like.
How fun would it be if we actually had Annie, and then that would give us a legit reason to break out in song and dance?
Oh my gosh,
that would be amazing.
She could be in the musical episode.
Exactly.
It's a hard knock.
There's a whole movie dedicated towards her.
That would be fun. So that's all I have for news and gossip. So take that as you will. Let's move.
Wait, do you want to do the weave?
Once upon a weave. Dakota, take it away.
Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Okay, so we did a poll. And we said, who do you think would win Once Upon a Weave? 36% of you guys said that Emma would win, but we were kind of confused because Emma had her hair back in like the 2 scenes she was in.
It was in a ponytail and in a black cap.
But when I voted, I hadn't seen the episode yet.
That's
and I
true.
voted for Regina because I just figured if we get a flashback of Evil Queen, like she's gonna slay all day. So
every day.
All day.
All day.
All day.
All day.
Okay, but who do you think actually won? Because Regina was second place, getting in 31% of the votes. I think it was Zelina because she was the only one who had a small cameo in this episode, and her hair was up. It was at attention. You know what I'm saying? It was present. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing I could think of. I mean, what do you think?
I would say maybe Rumple from the flashbacks.
Yeah, I was giving it to
pretty
Rumple.
glittery today.
It was nice. It had a really strong wave to it.
Strong wave.
A strong wave to that. And trust me, as a girl who normally rocks the natural hair, don't care. It's hard to get those waves nice because you sleep on it wrong and your hair ends up sticking out sideways like Pippi Longstocking.
Hey, it's a look.
It could be Pippi.
It could be Pippi.
How awesome would that be?
Oh, that
my
would
gosh,
be fun
it could.
too.
She's precocious too.
That's so funny.
Well, thank you, Dakota,
Of
for
course.
our Once Upon a Weave. Since
Roxy is
not avail. And now let's move into predictions.
Your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
Anyone want to start?
I saw one of the fans in the chat, Casket Fan 1, said that they think in the end Regina will have to kill Robin 2.0.
Ooh.
Oh yeah,
Which would
I
be
totally see
I
that.
could
totally
see that.
scary. I mean, wouldn't that be awful? Like, not only did he die, but she's got to kill the guy who looks exactly like him.
But you got to remember, like Regina killed Daniel as well. Again, remember in season 2 when
Yeah.
Daniel came back and he was like the Frankenstein zombies. Daniel, Regina killed him too. I could totally see that happening. It just really sucked. Regina had to kill Robin like that. I could totally see it happening.
I could see it happening, but but it would be because he drove her to do it. Like, one of my other predictions was that now that he knows that all those hearts are in there from her enemies, you know how we see that war scene in the next episode? You know, he unleashes whatever's in that
The
box.
trolls are there.
I feel like maybe he somehow is able to control the hearts, maybe, since he knows where they're at. Maybe he could gather them and, like, control the hearts of her worst enemies and turn them against her, maybe? I don't know. It could happen.
It could
Possibly.
happen. Anything's possible.
In Storybrooke.
Yeah. Okay, so Marissa, maybe you know, because next week we see Beowulf.
What?
Beowulf. It's like that old
Oh,
poem, but
like,
I
yeah,
don't
but,
actually
like,
remember what
Gildersleeve.
happened in that, so I guess I have to go do some reading this week to find
I'm
out.
not sure if it's Beowulf, but
That's what it
I mean,
sounded like they said.
it
That's why I
could
was
be.
like,
But we know that there are trolls. There's like the equivalent of World War One and Two. They have Troll War 1 and 2.
Troll
So
Troll
which war is this? But I just want to know what's in that box
yeah.
that Robin took at the end.
You did some
and
fast,
we did some
pausing.
like pausing on that during the preview. It looked like little potion vials. I don't know, something circular, and there's multiple of them in that box. So what is it?
What's in the
Whatever
box?
it is, it's not good. Regina even said, you know, that's some powerful stuff.
It's like potion.
I love it.
Maybe.
I love how she hit it, like, right in front of him. Like, I'm going to put that over in here now.
Put that over here.
It's very powerful.
Not for you.
Very powerful. Very powerful stuff
Very
here.
powerful.
My prediction is that Robin 2.0 is working with the Dark Fairy to take down Storybrooke, because it would explain how he was able to get through the portal. It just, there's something off about him, and he wouldn't know to just take that for no reason. He took it for a reason. I think last week, how fast he was like, I'll go. I said it last week. That really was a trigger for me of like, he's up to something.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like he's not truly who he's saying he is. Also, something from last week with the whole Gideon thing. I think everyone's just a little too quick to believe his side of the story.
Who?
Of Gideon. Like, he said, you know, that the Dark Fairy tried to make him dark for years, and he, you know, thought of his
Resisted.
mom and resisted. And then I got home last week and I was like, wait a second. We just believed him. We don't know if he's playing us in any way, because he could be working with the Dark Fairy and using
Exactly.
this as his way in to get, you know, sympathy, to get the popular vote or something, you know? So I'm not saying that I don't trust him. I'm just saying that, like, I need to see him interact a little bit more.
Exactly.
See a little bit of flashbacks of his time there, because something just isn't right. It's hard to resist that much darkness, even if your mother is Belle. All
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Could you imagine if they incorporated the storyline into, like, if they did, like, a Beauty and the Beast 2? Like, Beauty and the Beast is obviously coming
Straight
out.
to
but-
DVD.
Straight to DVD.
DVD
That would
version.
be like, no, that would be digital download only. You know what I'm saying?
VOD. Other people in the chat are wondering what's also in the box. We don't know. Hopefully, we'll find it next episode.
I feel like
hope they
we
don't
will.
drag that out. And as for the when David's gonna find out, I think it's gonna be before the wedding. It's gonna
Ugh.
be before the finale.
Oh my gosh, what if it was like
it's going to
during the wedding?
backfire so hard on Hook
Here's
right
the-
now.
I
Oh.
pray, and I always give Hook. I'm Hooker for life. I always try to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I also know that sometimes he doesn't always do the right thing.
Yeah.
But my heart wants to say that he's not even going to ask Emma before this secret
Oh,
gets
I
out.
hope so. Because
Like,
you
he's
see
gonna
him,
come
Like,
clean
he's going to
first.
come clean about it first, and
He,
then
like,
it's going to
closes-
cause drama.
yeah.
Mm.
You can see he, like, closes the boxes, like, thinking about it. He's contemplating.
Yeah.
But I feel like if it did happen to where he did ask her, I feel like somehow David would find out before the wedding, and then, like, whenever they say, does anyone object, he'll be like, I object. This man killed my father.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
It's a little too dramatic for
Maybe.
once.
It's like, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Let us know what you guys think. Send us what you think is in the box, guys.
What's in the box?
Hashtag what's in the box. In the meantime, where can everyone find you guys on social media?
You can follow me on Twitter at Serafini TV.
And you guys can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Mr. Dakota T Jones.
And make sure you guys follow Roxy Stryer and tweet her at Roxy Stryer. You can find me at the Tiona Hobson. And make sure you check out all the shows AfterBuzz TV does here. Follow us on social media. You can check out shows like Shadowhunters.
Yes.
Marisa,
When Calls the
When
Heart.
Calls the Heart.
I always want to say A Call Against the Heart. I don't know why.
When Calls the
When
Heart.
Calls the Heart.
One of my shows.
The original starts next Sunday at 5 p.m. and I'll be on that that show as well. So make sure you guys check us out all across the board. And we'll see you guys next week with more Once Upon a Time.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.